Gustafson Barlette with Times Union at timesunion.com, and welcome to 20 Things Plus, where we highlight someone previously featured on the Times Union's 20 Things You Don't Know About Me. Today we are joined by Yvonne Perry. Some of you may remember Yvonne as Rosanna on As the World Turns, the soap opera. You also may recognize her from several local commercials, and if you've gone to shows at Capital Rep, she's been in many of those, and she's an adjunct professor at several local colleges and universities. Hi, Yvonne. I feel like I could keep going and because your resume is so robust. So welcome. Thank you for joining us.
That's what happens when you're a freelancer. You end up having very impressive resumes, but really it just means I make money sporadically.
The reality, right? That's what our resume is. We make it, we clean it up and polish it up, but then there's the reality.
Right. Thank you for having me, by the way.
Thank you for joining us. This will be fun. So here's what we'll do. You'll update us on 2 of your original 20 things. We'll learn a few new things about you because it's been a few years since you did your original list. And then we'll play a little game at the end.
Okay.
So I want to start with, in your original 20 things, you talked about loving to sew. And you said, obviously, that played in nicely with your theater background, and you made great costumes for your daughters for Halloween each year. And also, I feel like the last year, if sewing was ever more important, it was the last year where people were making masks and things like that. Are you still sewing?
Yeah, well, of course, I make masks. I have 3 different designs, and so I have been sending them all over the country. I'm really bored of making masks, so I sort of have stopped. But I also do, like, I made a medieval gown out of an old tablecloth I got at Marshall's and some upholstery fabric I bought on the street in New York. And then I like to repurpose things. So I've been doing a lot of, I make these quilts out of old blue jeans. Oh, so basically, like my brothers, like I have a brother who has a little daughter, and he gave me a lot of his old work pants and blue jeans, and I made a quilt out of her dad's blue jeans. And I put fleece on the back, and they're just really super warm and comfy. You throw them in the washer. They're like, it's like wearing a pair of jeans on top of you when you watch TV. So I have a lot of fun doing that. And again, I try to see how much I can do without having to actually buy anything.
I love that. And now I need to know about this medieval gown though. Where are you wearing it? Are you just kind of standing in your house and taking photos? Is it a costume? Are you planning a big reveal when we can all leave our houses again?
Yeah, I do it partially for fun, and then partially because actually I was able to use one a year ago. There are several other well-known actors in the area: David Gerard, David Bunce, John Romeo. John Romeo's been doing some more filmmaking. David Bunce, of course, wrote Red Maple, which was a new play at Capital Rep a year and a half ago that I was in. And David Gerard is the artistic director of Troy Foundry Theater. So these guys, we all got together. They wrote, David Bunce wrote a show called The Middle Ages, based in the Middle Ages, about a man going through a midlife crisis. And it was super funny. And we shot that a year ago, and we did some scenes. I actually have a friend who owns a castle up in Tupper Lake. And I got to wear my gowns.
I was going to say, there's never a more appropriate time to wear a medieval gown than when you're at a castle.
You never know when one is going to come in handy. You know what I'm saying, Kristi?
And now I know where to go if I need one. Perfect. If I'm ever headed to a castle. All right. The next one, you had talked originally about your daughters. I see you post them on social media as well. You and your husband had adopted 2 daughters from China many years ago, right? I think your girls are in their 20s now.
Both in college. Yep.
Okay. And you've gone back there, and what's been happening since?
It's been great. I mean, I took, when my daughter Josie, who's now 20, when she was a senior at Shaker, I took her to China, and we went and visited many things in the country. We traveled all over the country, but one of the things we did was go to the province where she was born, which is Hunan province. That's where she's from. And we went actually back to the orphanage and got to meet the woman who was one of her nurses. And she pulled out this file on my daughter with letters I'd written, 19 years ago. It was really moving for me, I think, more than her. She just sort of sat there stunned, but she thought it was really super cool. And then last year, right before COVID, we went back with both girls and went to Guangzhou, which is where the American consulate used to be. That's just outside of Hong Kong. And they got to visit the place that we were when both of their adoptions were finalized. I think it's super important that they understand the culture that they were born in. So as a white person, I do whatever I can to help them understand the place where they originated. Yeah.
do I remember seeing a picture that everybody sat on some sort of red chair or something like that?
Yeah.
Was there am I remembering this correctly, or am I
You
completely
are.
making
No,
it up?
no, anyone who watches this that has a baby that was adopted from China will know about the red couch at the White Swan Hotel in Guangzhou, which is on Shamian Island, right next door to where the American consulate used to be. And there's this red couch in the lobby, and it became this sort of tradition that every parent would sit on this red couch and get a picture taken with their baby, usually on the day that they get their American passport. So they have since renovated the hotel, and the consulate has since moved, but this red couch they kept, and they put it in this sort of special place of honor. And anyone who goes back there with their daughters from China can go sit on the red couch again. Yeah, it was
That's
super
so cool.
cool.
Okay, I thought I remembered seeing a photo of them on the red couch. And now, what are your daughters doing now? They're both in college?
Yes, Josie is a junior at St. Anselm in Manchester, New Hampshire, and Justine is a freshman at Notre Dame in Indiana.
Very nice. Very cool. All right. Now we will learn a couple of new things about you.
Okay.
Starting with this one I need to know about. You had mentioned this in email. I didn't ask for details, but I need the details now.
Okay.
In 2018, you trained to be an intimacy director for theater. What is that?
Well, you may have read about it. It's been written up everywhere from the New York Times to local papers across the country. HBO now does not produce anything on their entire network platform that involves any kind of intimacy without having an intimacy coordinator on the set. Basically what that is, it's something that I've always used in my directing, but I never had a pedagogy for it. You know, there was never any codified language to identify what it is that I did when I direct. But, you know, coming from the land of soap operas, which is where I spent most of my 20s, I had to do a lot of love scenes. And I was really super fortunate because I happened to work in an environment that had lots of crew and cast and directors who had lots of experience doing love scenes. And actors are not always that lucky. There's a lot of emotional and physical trauma that can happen when your job requires two people to be that close to each other in each other's personal space in that way. And what Intimacy Directors International, which has now been folded into another organization, but at the time, Tonya Sina was the woman who spearheaded this, and they were trying to spread the message and the news of a new sort of codified language for theater, film, and television directors to use when choreographing a scene of intimacy. It's best explained like if 50, 100 years ago, if you were an actor and you had a fight on stage, you had a sword fight, you're doing Romeo and Juliet and you had a sword fight. You know, if you got lucky, you had a director that knew how to stage a sword fight so that no one got hurt. Eventually, actors were getting hurt. And so now they have people that are actually stage combat specialists, and they will come in and they will teach the actors how to do the dance that makes it look like a real sword fight, but not really a real sword fight. You know, like John Wick, the movies, all those fights Keanu Reeves does. There are people and stunt people that teach them how to do that so that they don't get hurt. It's the same thing with sex, basically. How do we not really have to sexually assault each other and yet make the audience think that something really intimate is happening there? And I think, Kristi, what it does is it makes the work better. It really makes the work better, and it makes everyone feel more safe at work. So I'm super proud of the work that I've done with this organization, and really proud of the stuff that I've learned. And I've been able to apply it in my teaching. I've been able to consult at a couple shows at Capital Rep. Sometimes something as simple as a kiss, if you have an actor that's not used to that, it can be really awkward, super awkward. I could talk on and on about this.
Well, let's talk about Capital Rep. You mentioned Capital Rep. I know they were moving to their new location. Obviously, things got really screwed up with COVID and theaters closing and things like that. I know you're very involved in Capital Rep and have been for many years.
Yeah.
So what's going on with that now?
Well, I'm so thrilled to be associated with the Proctor's organization, and Proctor's manages Capital Repertory Theater. The producing artistic director, Maggie Mancinelli Cahill, has become a close friend of mine. I think I've done 8 shows there. And so I've recently been made an artistic associate, which basically means I'm sort of a liaison with the community, representing the theater. I do a lot of sort of, I don't know if ad hoc's the right word. I do a lot of work on the side for the organization. I've been a reader on their new play summit since its inception. I've been in 2 of the world premiere plays that they've produced there, because of course, part of their mission is producing new American plays. And Capital Rep has a new building. A lot of people don't know that we never owned that theater that they've been producing in for over 30 years. It's always been a sort of rental basis. And so the building was really in need of some help, and the landlord wasn't really helping. So we finally got our own building, and it's just 2 blocks north on Pearl, just north of the Palace Theater. It's an old Nabisco biscuit factory.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for people to see it. And of course, we were supposed to open last fall, and COVID put a stop to all that. But the theater's ready, man. I'm there quite a bit now because I'm helping with some things behind the scenes, furnishing the offices, and getting things like appliances for washers and dryers for the costume shop, things like that. But it is so gorgeous in there. And I am so happy that Albany will finally get a professional theater that the capital of New York State deserves.
And
Really
that's a nice area too. They're right in the same, people are familiar with that area.
That's right.
There's parking garages, there's parking lots. So once that's open, do you know what the first show will be when they reopen?
Well, I know what the first show was supposed to be because I was supposed to be in it. And I don't know, it's a premiere outside of Broadway. And so I don't know if I'm able to talk about it, but if it happens, it's going to be super exciting because I'll give a hint. It's all about Albany politics.
Oh, that's fun and hot right now, real hot right now. So
Yeah.
that's very cool.
So there's some great seasons. Of course, Maggie's been having to do some adjustments to the seasons. Every month we get new news from the state government telling us when we can open, when we can't open. So things are still a little bit up in the air, but the vaccine is changing things quickly. So
it is. I feel like every day there's more hope, which is fantastic. All right. And then speaking of hope, I know you are a cancer survivor and you're doing work with Sloan Kettering. And you've been doing work with Sloan Kettering for many, many years. And if I remember correctly, even your surgeon with your cancer, it was your prom king at the king at your prom, right, in high school.
Jeff Rockmore, yeah, Rockmore's plastic surgery group, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yes. Yeah. So what have you been doing with Sloan Kettering and your health since then?
Well, I didn't get my treatment at Sloan Kettering. I got really great treatment right here in the Capital District, but Sloan Kettering does amazing work. One of my really good friends from college is married to an ovarian cancer specialist there. And that's sort of how he got involved. But he now produces, so Sloan Kettering offers many different kinds of adjuvant treatment. Some of them are therapeutic in nature. And one of the therapeutic treatments that they offer if you are getting cancer treatment there is a program called Visible Ink, which refers to the little ink tattoos that you get when you're getting radiation. They put little tattoos on you so that they can aim the radiation at the right place. And a lot of people, I know that when I was going through my cancer treatment, this is now 11, 12 years ago, I wrote a lot. I had an email chain. This is before I even knew how to blog. And I would write every Thursday about what I was going through that week in my cancer treatment. And it was helpful to me. And it was helpful to, I think, the people who loved me because they were able to not have to bother and pepper me with all kinds of questions. I could talk about it in my time and in my way. Well, Visible Ink is a program at Sloan Kettering where cancer patients can write about what they're going through or write about not what they're going through, something that makes them forget about what they're going through. They pair them with published authors as their mentors, and they help curate their writing. And my friend Greg, who is down in the city, he curates the writing of these cancer patients, and he finds these pieces that are performable. And he finds ways to turn them into song, dance, poetry, storytelling. And he gets all of his television and Broadway actor friends to perform them specifically for the patients, the doctors, and the nurses who've been caring for them.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
really
that's incredible.
great.
So that's not something that people could go view online because you would be a patient. It's performances for
Well, usually you have to go to the big theater in New York where we perform it every year.
I beat you, cancer. I did it. I won.
Since COVID, Greg and the entire organization, just like everything in the world, has had to pivot a bit. And so now you can actually watch it online. We do it online. So last night, I think we premiered the first part of this year's, and then next week we'll premiere the second part. So I'm in an on-camera story this week, and then next week you'll be able to stream something where I'm narrating, and it's, Broadway dancers are dancing the story of this woman that I'm narrating. So it's pretty cool.
And I was going to say, the nice thing about that too is obviously it's giving Broadway actors and actresses and people working in that industry who maybe aren't working obviously in their traditional roles now, other kind of work to do too.
We artists, we just want to create. I mean, we just want to do the thing that feeds our soul. So absolutely, this is a wonderful way for me specifically, but I think judging from the other actors that I've met working on this project, a way to give back in a way that kind of feeds our soul. Yeah.
How can people find this if they want to watch it?
I can give you the link.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. I like that. All right, Yvonne, well, thank you so much. Before you go anywhere, we're going to play a little game where I'll give you 3 clues for who will be featured on Monday's 20 Things You Don't Know About Me.
Oh, okay.
The list version, it means it's someone we haven't featured yet. People who are watching can also take a guess by tweeting me at Just Kristi, tweeting at Times Union, or commenting on this video on the Times Union's YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. And no pressure, because I want to say only about 85% of the time, the person doesn't guess. So you'll be the majority if you don't guess. All right.
I won't feel bad if I don't. But maybe you need to give better hints, Kristi.
Hey, put it back on me. I don't like that. I don't want to take that responsibility. All right. And this woman is very cool. So one of the best moments in my career was when I worked on 50 Cent's surprise birthday dinner. I won a Black and Latino Achievers Award in high school through the YMCA program. And I met activist Tamika Mallory after putting together a community pop-up shop for her organization, Until Freedom.
It's not Barbara Howard.
It is not. No. All right, but people can see who it is, and you as well, on Monday morning on timesunion.com starting at 7 a.m. She's very cool. Those are just 3 of her things. The other 17 things are equally as cool. What she's done is amazing in the last 2 years of being an entrepreneur. So, and she's got some fun photos too. Thank you again, Yvonne, for joining us. I appreciate it, and good luck with everything.
Kristi, thank you so much. Nice to see you.